Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode we'll be discussing Tottenham Hotspur beating Manchester United 1-0 to win the Europa League final, and one absolutely incredible achievement by Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou. But for me, one player that will go down in Tottenham Hotspur folklore will be Brennan Johnson for that absolutely weird goal, okay? But before that, as always, like, comment, subscribe, it is very much appreciated. And the level of support on these videos has been absolutely incredible in recent weeks. And I just want to say a quick little thank you because we're building a nice little small community of people, of supporters that like my channel at the moment. So I can't thank you guys enough. But yeah, where do we even start to begin talking about this game, okay? Tottenham Hotspur have ended their 17-year trophy drought. Honestly, their last trophy win was in 2008 under Harry Redknapp. And for me, Ange Postecoglou has sort of shut up his haters this season just because he was getting so much stick for his team's performances in the Premier League. And don't get me wrong, he has been bad this season. Tottenham haven't been the best team. They probably have been one of the worst seasons for a long time in Tottenham Hotspur history in the Premier League, as well as Manchester United as well. I want to throw that in there. But for me, you know what? Ange Postecoglou will probably go down as one of Tottenham Hotspur's best ever managers, with the likes of Harry Redknapp and people before my lifetime, because that was probably the last time Tottenham Hotspur won a trophy, except from 2008, of course. But you know what? For me, Ange Postecoglou probably has one of the best quotes in football history when he said, "I always win something in my second season." Honestly, that hands down has to be one of the best quotes I've ever heard in football terms, at least. And you know, Daniel Levy has always tried everything when it comes to recruiting managers, whether that's, you know, getting young, hungry managers looking to succeed, whether that's getting winners in the likes of Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho, all these different managers. And it is Ange Postecoglou who has finally gotten Tottenham Hotspur over the line to win the Europa League final, and what an absolutely crazy victory. Because when we read out some of the stats later, it will look like Manchester United probably should have won the game, honestly, in all facts. But it just didn't plan out that way. Obviously, when we talk about the game, the first half an hour, it was a little bit shaky from both teams. It was all a bit of back and forth from both teams, you know. Nothing really was happening for, you know, a few chances were created, don't get me wrong, but you couldn't really call it. I feel like it was a bit of a knife edge in that sort of aspect. It could have gone either way. But, you know, in the 39th, 40th minute, one man in particular, Brennan Johnson, does the absolute business and scores the goal for Tottenham to win the Europa League. Honestly, absolutely incredible for Brennan Johnson. His name will go down in Tottenham Hotspur folklore. It honestly will do. He'll be an absolute legend of the club, and he'll be spoke about in high regard for so many years for Tottenham Hotspur fans. Honestly, one absolutely incredible achievement by him. And, you know, don't get me wrong, the leading top goal scorer for Tottenham this season, it was no surprise that he would go and score the goal, because, you know, don't get me wrong, it was a bit of a weird one. I'm not going to lie, you know, very good cross into the box by Papier Sarr, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, Brennan Johnson sort of got a weird touch of it, and a weird touch onto the ball, and then it sort of deflected off Luke Shaw, and then Onana could not do anything about it. He was too far into his goal, and he just couldn't get a touch on the ball. Honestly, Onana couldn't do anything about it. And for me, I feel like Onana probably should have done a little bit better. That might be a little bit harsh, but, you know, we've said this a lot of times this season about Onana for Manchester United. I just don't think he's good enough, and that's one area where I think Manchester United need to improve on next season if they want to, you know, get back into those top 10, top 8, top 6 positions in the league. Because when we speak about what's next for Manchester United in this video, I couldn't even tell you, honestly. It's going to be a bit of a tricky season next year for Manchester United. Or is it going to be more the same? I don't know. But again, you know, when we speak about the game, okay, there was 3 legends in this game that were created for me for Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, Brennan Johnson scoring a goal. He'll go down, absolute legend of the club. And then Mickey van der Ven, right, getting that bicycle clearance off the line, saving Tottenham Hotspur from Manchester United getting an equaliser. He's an absolute club legend now. And, you know, for me, in that centre-back position, he probably is one of the best in the league. Probably top 5, I'd like to say. And obviously, you know, he's had his own injury problems this season, but he was sensational in this game. And then the third player that will go down as a club legend, or maybe even a cult hero, will be Vicario, the goalkeeper, because some of the saves he pulled off were amazing. I think he got 5 saves in total, And, you know, when we think about some of Manchester United's big chances, there was that, obviously, that Rasmus Højlund, Mickey van der Ven goal clearance off the line. Obviously, there was that Bruno Fernandes header, Luke Shaw header, that Garnacho shot as well at the end. Absolutely amazing. But I think the best save of the game probably was that last minute save against Luke Shaw, because Luke Shaw had a header, and, you know, it was looking like it was going and go. It was looking like Manchester United were going to score, but, you know, Vicario pulls out an absolutely amazing goal saving opportunity to keep Tottenham Hotspur into the game, and that's probably one of the reasons why they won the Europa League final. And honestly, to break out a trophy drought after all this time, after 17 years wait to do it, absolutely amazing for Tottenham Hotspur and Ange Postecoglou. When we compare it to the Crystal Palace final last week, right, I feel like that was probably a better game in the sense of, you know, both teams were fighting for it and both teams were having a lot of chances. Whereas, you know, in this game, Tottenham Hotspur, to only have 3 shots on goal and to win the game having only 3 shots on goal was absolutely incredible scenes. How are you doing that? When you look at the stats on FootMob, only having 27% possession, 3 shots on goal, and only having 1 shot on target, you've got to think to yourself, maybe Manchester United deserved the victory because they had 73% possession, they had 16 shots, they had 6 shots on target, and from that point of view, maybe Manchester United probably did have the better chances, but just weren't clinical enough in this game. And I think that's just the case from the whole season, really. You know what I mean? Manchester United do all right to, you know, create the chances, but when it comes down to the final third, they're nowhere near it. Honestly, Rasmus Højlund, I don't want to say it, but he's just not good enough for that Manchester United team. Well, they need a 20-goal season striker. I just don't think he's the right man for it. And hopefully now them signing Matheus Cunha can potentially fire them up the league. I don't know whether he'll play in that striker position or not, because obviously he's more of a left winger / number 10 position player. But maybe he could play at number 9. I don't know. Maybe he might. I feel like Manchester United might have a better look playing Cunha in that striker position. But I feel like for me, if I was Matheus Cunha looking at this Manchester United, loss now, I'd probably think to myself, did I join Manchester United a little bit too early? Maybe I did, I don't know. Because he was probably joining them on the hope they'd probably win it and get Champions League football. But now that they've lost, they're not even in any European competitions next season. So from Matheus Cunha, from that sort of perspective, he sort of gambled a little bit too early. And maybe he could have gone to like an Arsenal or someone like that. Maybe he's made a mistake, I don't know. I'm not too sure, but I feel like it's a good signing for Manchester United because he's a fantastic player, Matheus Cunha. You know, scored 15 goals this season, 16 goals this season. So he is a great player from that perspective, and I feel like he will probably file them up the league. But I feel like Matheus Cunha probably have to wait another year to play Champions League football or Europa League football, whatever it is, the season after next, of course. But, you know, from a Tottenham Hotspur point of view, do we think Ange Postecoglou will sort of stay now? Obviously, there was sort of rumours that he might be leaving. Whatever happens, whatever the result, whether he loses, whether he wins, that he might be leaving. Hopefully now it sort of gets the haters off of Ange Postecoglou's back a little bit, and hopefully he'll stay for the next season because I feel like he does deserve it. Obviously, he was putting all of his focus into the cup competitions, like he said in his press conference. He was putting all of his focus into the FA Cup, all of his focus into the Europa League, and he's gone and won something for Tottenham Hotspur. And not a lot of managers can say that, can they? You know, obviously, Antonio Conte couldn't do it. Jose Mourinho couldn't do it. Pochettino couldn't do it as well. So from that perspective, you've got to think to yourself, Ange Postecoglou, he's got to stay there because he's a serial winner. Let him stay there for another season or two. Let him build out his squad. And obviously, he's had a lot of injuries this season. I don't want to use it as an excuse. But then again, I don't think it is an excuse because it's a clear reason when you don't have the best players in your team and you don't have a good enough quality squad depth as well, it will affect your league position. It will affect how your overall team plays in the Premier League because it's always a tricky one. I don't think it is an excuse saying about injuries, but then I feel like everybody says injuries, so I'm not too sure. Is it an excuse? Is it not? Let me know in the comments. But for me, what else can we say about this game? How long do you think Manchester United fans will give Ruben Amorim? I'm not too sure. I feel like you've got to give him a pre-season, you've got to give him a transfer window, but if he doesn't do the business by January, he's got to leave, hasn't he? just because we know about football fans now, they're very fickle, and if you're not winning as manager straight away, they will want you out and they'll want a new manager to come in and implement their tactics and whatnot. But for me, the 3-4-3 system just doesn't work. We've seen it time and time again this season in the Premier League. We've seen it in the Europa League final, and it hasn't worked. Whatever way you want to sum it up, maybe Sean Dyche was right, okay. Maybe if you had him instead at Manchester United, okay, playing the old 4-4-2 back in the day football, throwback football, yeah, maybe Manchester United might have won this game. I don't know. Maybe Sean Dyche was all right all along, like he said in the overlap in one of the recent videos. But I don't know. I don't know what's next for Manchester United. I feel like they need more signings in and around Matheus Cunha. They need people in midfield. They need doing defenders. Playing Luke Shaw, left-sided centre-back, just it wasn't the one, was it? And for me, Manchester United next season, I feel like it's going to be more the same for them. You know, obviously they're not in Europe now, so it's going to be very tricky from that perspective. They'll probably have one, maybe it might be better for, you know, the Manchester United players, where they can just put all their focus onto the Premier League, all their focus onto the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, whereas, you know, Tottenham Hotspur have to now compete in the Champions League, you know, and the Premier League. They have to go play Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. So it might be a little bit trickier for them. We don't know. Maybe if they buy some more players. They do have a good team. You know, when you think about the Spurs starting 11, with the likes of Romero, Mickey van der Ven, James Maddison, Son, Brennan Johnson, they do have some good players in there. I feel like they probably like, for me, they're probably a right back away, 1 or 2 centre mids away, and probably another left winger away from, you know, probably top 6 positions. To break the duck, right, getting their trophy win over the line, and Ange Postecoglou shutting up the haters, because he's a serial winner. You know, let me just read out some of the competitions he's won, okay? So he's an Asian Cup winner in 2014-2015 with Australia. He's won a Japanese League in 2018-2019. He's a 2-time Scottish champion. He's a 2-time Scottish Cup winner. He's a 2-time Scottish League Cup winner with Celtic in the 21, 22, 23 seasons, of course. He's a 4-time Australian champion with the likes of South Melbourne and Brisbane Roar. And now he's just gone and won the Europa League with Tottenham Hotspur. So from that perspective, he is a serial winner. For me, I feel like Ange Postecoglou gets a little bit disrespected for all of his trophy achievements, just because, you know, he hasn't won anything in the top 5 leagues. Now, obviously, he's won the Europa League, so it sort of does help it a little bit with Tottenham, of course. But I feel like this win for Tottenham should give a little bit of a leeway for Ange Postecoglou, and I feel like he should stay for at least another season, because obviously, like I said previously, I don't want to use the injuries as an excuse. When you don't have enough quality squad depth behind those players, your starting 11, it is a little bit difficult. And I feel like if they can buy like 2 or 3 more players to add to that squad depth, you might see Tottenham Hotspur a little bit higher in the league. And if they can go on a good Champions League run next season as well, that will be very, very good for their confidence of Ange Postecoglou. And he's a winner. There's no doubt about it. Either whatever you want to say, whatever you want to throw at him, obviously, he's won in the Australian League, he's won in the Scottish League, whatever. It is what it is. But I do think he definitely does deserve some apologies from Tottenham Hotspur fans and every other Premier League fan, really, because everybody was giving him stick this season, even though Tottenham Hotspur have been quite bad. So I feel like, I wouldn't say deserved, but a little bit too harsh at times. That's what I'm going to say. That's how I'm going to end it. But I think we should end the video by asking some questions, okay? Will Ange Postecoglou go down as a legend for Tottenham Hotspur? Will he leave or stay at Tottenham next season? How well do you think they'll compete in the Champions League next season? How many players do you reckon they'll sign? Who do you think they'll sign? And now for Manchester United, what does this mean for Ruben Amorim? Do you think he'll stay or go? Do you reckon he'll get a pre-season? Who do you think Manchester United need to sign in the summer? Do you think Matheus Cunha has sort of signed for Manchester United a little bit too early? Could he have signed for somebody else? I don't know. And yeah, those are all my questions. As always, like, comment, subscribe. It is very much appreciated. And the level of support on our most recent videos has been absolutely amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. And let's continue to build a nice little small community. It really does help out my YouTube channel massively. So I can't thank you guys enough. And yeah, as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.